Alright, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, the latest physique update from Nick Walker. He posted 2 updates in the last 24 hours, this one being the most recent, a most muscular shot, a front double bicep shot, and then another crab most muscular shot. Then right before that, he posted some updates in posing trunks, a front relaxed, a front double bicep, a most muscular, another most muscular, a side chest, and a back double bi. He says that at the time of that check-in, his weight was 277 pounds, and he also says progress was being made. Now, I just want to say this about Nick Walker. I think right now, based on the feedback that I've gotten, ever since Nick Walker won that Arnold Classic, but definitely lately, and after that top 3 Olympia finish, I think that Nick Walker is the most popular men's open bodybuilder right now. He's rapidly grown to 1.3 million followers on Instagram. And maybe I should specify that I think Nick is the most popular bodybuilder among U.S. fans, because you do have Hadi Chupin, your current Olympia champion, with 3.9 million followers. But honestly, anytime, when a bodybuilder posts a physique update, a bunch of people tag me in the comments, a bunch of people send it to me in DMs. But Nick Walker, it seems, whenever he posts anything, like 100 people send me it. More from Nick Walker than any other bodybuilder. People send me his updates. He is extremely popular right now amongst the crowd that is actively following bodybuilding, even now, which is kind of the off-season for a lot of the Olympia guys. And while, yes, Nick looks good in these updates, even though it's the off-season for him, we're not going to see him compete until the Olympia. He doesn't need to qualify or anything like that. So many people sent me this update that I did kind of want to pose the question to you guys in the beginning of this video. Do you think Nick Walker is currently the most popular men's open bodybuilder despite not being a current Mr. Olympia champion? Now, worldwide international fans might be a different story, but specifically US-based, I feel that Nick Walker is more popular and generates more conversation than Hadi Chupin, Big Ramy, and Brandon Curry, and that could be because all 3 of those guys don't really post nearly as much as Nick does on social media, and maybe that's a testament to how important it is as a pro bodybuilder to build these social media followings. And when I say important, I don't mean for contest placings. I mean important for your career. Nick knows the game. I think he's doing it well, and I think he's kind of a familiar face. He represents what a lot of bodybuilding fans are, in their mid-20s, just meatheads. He's just very representative of that demographic that are hardcore bodybuilding fans right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about that. Now, next up in the news, this was an interesting one. A lot of people sent me this one as well. So Olympia TV, the YouTube channel ran by Tarek El Gundi, and this is the official outlet representative of and ran by the Olympia organization. And they've been dipping their toes a little bit into, commentary and criticism of athletes, and it's generated an interesting discussion with this latest post that a lot of people felt to be a little bit too much from the official organization about their competitors. And I just want to say off the top, I think that any bodybuilding media organization or entity at all should be able to say whatever they want as long as it's not defamation or slander or just a straight up lie about whoever they're talking about. If it's fair criticism, I think anything goes, even their terminology, even though that I feel using the word failures directly towards bodybuilders competing in their competition is a little strong. They should have the right to do that. But this is the issue that bodybuilding media always faces and has been facing for a long time. You had these magazine companies. A lot of people felt that them as media outlets had to be careful what they said because A, either they had an athlete sponsored as under their magazine, so they didn't want to be trashing a bodybuilder that was representing their magazine, and then B, the supplement companies that advertise in their magazines, they have sponsored athletes too. So as an advertiser, you wouldn't want the magazine you're advertising in trashing your athletes. The same is true for these competitions. As some of these competitions try to develop their own brands, like the Olympia, and try to develop their own media brand, where they do commentary and criticism, this is the issue they're going to face, is that it's a little bit different as a competition trying to become a brand and trying to become a media entity, because the optics of it are going to look bad. Because this is the official outlet of the Olympia, and in this article, or in this Olympia post advertising their video, the caption says, "Are they Olympia failures or promises?" Ian Valliere, Antoine Vaillant, James Hollingshead, and Steve Kuklo. And in the video, they essentially debated whether or not these guys had potential or failed to meet their potential at the Olympia. Failures or successes, that was the debate. Now, they got enough backlash for this that they removed the Instagram post and the YouTube video. But I wanted to know what you guys thought. Do you think, as a bodybuilding competition, the Olympia, trying to form a bodybuilding media outlet that does commentary and news on Olympia athletes, should they be that hard on their own athletes? Or should they be able to say whatever they want because it is a media outlet? The tricky part for them is that they are representing the competition, and that's what makes the optics start to look bad. When you want these guys to do your show, and you want these guys to, feel honored to do your show, it becomes tricky when the representatives of the show talk essentially negatively about the competitors, even though I think it's fair criticism. And this is the same issue they ran into with Sean Ray doing the commentary on the live stream. Sean Ray said a lot of things about bodybuilders' personal lives and kind of said a lot of negative things about some of the bodybuilders, and these guys were like, look, we want to compete at the Olympia. We want it to be an honor. We don't want the guy doing the Olympia commentary, talking about our family lives, our divorce, or saying these negative things about us. The Olympia should not be endorsing that, and that's when they changed it. You didn't see Sean Ray on the Olympia commentary this year. My feeling on it, again, I think anything should be game for any bodybuilding entity at all. Any bodybuilding media entity that wants to criticize or critique competitors. The whole sport is about being critiqued. That's what the judging is. I think anything should fly. Again, as long as it's not slander, defamation, or just lies about the competitor. But does that line become blurred a little bit if the media entity is representative of a competition? Could that have some kind of implicit bias or make the athletes feel a certain way? Or is it just a bad look overall for a competition to have a media entity that discusses these things? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. It's generating a lot of conversation. I saw it on Reddit. I saw a lot of people sharing it. A lot of people sent me this post before it got taken down. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments below. Now, next up in the news, Samson Dauda still sitting at 313 pounds. Well into his break / off-season / kind of recovery phase from the Arnold Classic prep. And what can we say about Samson that really hasn't already been said? The fact that Samson is over 300 pounds, keeps it this tight, still has this flow to his physique, is the impressive part about him. Nowadays, there are a lot of bodybuilders that are able to get to 300 plus pounds in the off-season, but it doesn't look nearly as good as it looks on Samson's frame. These guys start to look sloppy. A lot of them do get fat trying to get over 300 pounds because they're so focused on that number. But I mean, if you looked at Samson and did not know his weight in this video, I don't think very many people would have guessed, if they didn't have any prior context about Samson, that he's over 300 pounds here. And I don't mean that he doesn't look big, but he just still looks so aesthetic. He still has such a good flow to his physique, and he still looks so tight here. You wouldn't imagine that he's 15 pounds over 300 pounds. And now that Samson has his Arnold Classic win, it has really proved himself as being an A-tier bodybuilder, a guy that can win a major show. He's already kind of proved himself at the Olympia being in that first call-up, but now that he's really made this statement, beating Nick Walker at that show, beating Andrew Jacked, winning this major title in Columbus, I'm seeing a lot of podcasts, a lot of media outlets now talking about Samson as one of the biggest threats in the Olympia lineup to win the 2023 Mr. Olympia. And the more you see of Samson, the harder it is to really argue against that theory. He's got it all. I would still like to see him sharper. I would like to see significantly better conditioning from him if he were to win the Olympia title, because he'd have to beat a guy like Hadi Chupin to get there. And to beat Hadi, I think he needs to be shredded to the bone. And I do not think that's going to be an easy task for Samson. Do I think it's possible? Yes. But I do not think Hadi Chupin will be taken out easily. But you look at Samson, and he's got everything. He's got the size, he's got the height, this structure, this frame that gives him this intense stage presence that a lot of people don't have. And a lot of these top guys right now are shorter guys with a little bit less of a stage presence, and Samson has that pizzazz when you see him on stage. And he's got the size, he's got the frame, the structure, good flow to his physique. His posing routine was phenomenal at the Arnold Classic. His presentation was A1. If he sharpens up significantly for the Olympia, I think everybody's in trouble. But I will say this, I think if he looks the same as how he looked at the Arnold, while that was a good package, I don't think that package wins the Olympia. I just don't. It has to be better than that to beat a guy like Hadi Chupin. Now, next up in the news, I want to talk about a guy we haven't really talked much about lately, and that would be Regan Grimes, who posted a recent posing video / physique update after a recent training session with Milo Sarshev. So, kind of in line with the discussion about Samson Dauda, a lot of people now are making this argument that in addition to this changing of the tide right now in bodybuilding, you're seeing some younger, newer guys start to take over these top spots at the big contest, The other thing that a lot of people are discussing right now is this the era of the tall bodybuilder? And people point to guys like Andrew Jacked and Samson Dauda as being the leaders of that movement, doing really well at shows against shorter guys that are arguably better conditioned. Classic physique is a whole other discussion. A lot of people talking about how a lot of the tall guys do better in classic physique. That could just be because of the fact they're allowed to weigh more, which I think is an advantage, but that's a whole other discussion. So Regan Grimes, in theory, why can Regan not be a Samson Dauda or an Andrew Jacked? He has a very aesthetically pleasing physique. One of the things that a lot of people point to when it comes to Samson and Andrew. He's not really a small bodybuilder. He's a big guy. I do think at shows like the Olympia, one of the reasons why he has placed low in the past is he does get dwarfed a little bit in these lineups, and he does kind of look a little bit undersized next to some of these Olympians. But if he were to put on size, he brings decent conditioning. He brings pretty good conditioning. He's got really good shape. He's got really good lines, hence why he tried to move to classic. And he's working with Milos. So what's to stop a guy like Regan that has a lot of these same characteristics in his physique as Andrew Jacked and Samson Dauda? What's to stop him from having that same career trajectory as being one of the successful, tall, aesthetic guys that carries a pretty substantial amount of size? And I know that people get a little tired about me talking about Regan because we've been talking about him for so many years, and it just seems like he hasn't really delivered on the hype that he had early on. So I know that to a lot of people, it feels a little bit like we're beating a dead horse with the what ifs potential conversation with Regan. But it is an interesting premise to pose. Why can't he be successful like Samson or Andrew if he gets it together? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Will we ever see a really high placing or a really major win from Regan in the near future? Can he be a Samson or an Andrew Jacked? Why or why not? So that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you give it a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.